this is the this is the third edition of Express Time Pass. We started it during the lockdown period. We thought that it would be an opportunity for people to listen to some expert advice, to take tips, while also enjoying themselves. So we have a whole host of experts, and today we have you, Manish Mehrotra from Indian Accent in New Delhi, London, and New York. We have Suneet Verma, designer, very well known, especially for his wedding couture. And we have Ira Trivedi, who's a writer and yoga guru. So we'll start with you, Manish. You've been really the backbone of Indian cuisine as it has been seen in the West of late, especially in New York and London. New York has possibly been the hardest hit, one of the hardest hit cities in by coronavirus.
Yes.
So, how do you really see the whole business of eating out now?
It's definitely business is affected, but for us, our staff is the main thing for us is our staff. That all of them remain safe, all of them are in good condition, and they are looked after. So first priority is that, and what will happen in when the lockdown will open, then we will see and take the future, see the future, what is going to happen.
So, how are you keeping yourself engaged, Manish? Are you cooking at home? Are you troubling your wife? Are you troubling your staff at home?
I think all the professional chefs are now learning in last 1 month how to cook at home.
And how difficult it is.
How difficult it is to cook at home, and how to cook at home in terms of like now you cannot make one dish and spoil 15 bartans, and because you have to wash it. You can't ask for chop onions, you have to chop onion. In hotel, we don't chop onion, we ask for chop onions.
Right.
So here you can't ask for anything, you have to do everything on your own. And there are so many things which happens if you have a family where you have kids, you have elderly, and everybody's staying together, then to plan a meal, it's a tough thing to do because everybody has their own choices and requirements, and to complete all the whims and fancies to a certain extent, whatever you can do, is a tough job for a housewife, I would say. So that's what I am learning at this point of time.
So it's humbling in a way. Hi, Ira. I just wanted to say hi to Ira. She's just joined us. Hi. We'll just come to you in a bit, Ira. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
It's really good of you to be here.
Yes,
so we're just talking to Manish Mehrotra of Indian Accent about how he's learning how difficult it is actually to cook at home and how different it is from being a chef of a really high-end restaurant in London, New York, and Delhi. So Manish, what are the things that you've learned apart from the fact that you don't get everything easily? And what are the things that we have to now start doing for ourselves as well? How do we cook simply at home with what we have?
So you have to...
Yeah.
First thing, you really have to be innovative. Whatever you are planning to do, you have to be really, really innovative. How to plan your meal, whatever is available to you,
right?
And you have to always keep it interesting so that every day you don't serve the same things,
right?
And people at your house is happy.
Right.
In this lockdown, the biggest problem is which will happen is the mental health of people. Because everybody is...
Hi, Suneet. Good to have you. Yes, good to have you on board.
Hi. Sorry, a little longer to connect, but yeah, here we are.
Okay. Yeah. So we were just talking to Manish about what are the things that we're doing at home to keep our sanity and our stomachs full. Manish, you were talking about mental health.
I was talking about like this is going to be a very tough thing that for 1 month, even wife are living together in one house and seeing each other's face every day. That is also a tough thing to happen to everyone, I would say. So food is one such thing which really binds the family for at least 4 times in a day now, because breakfast, lunch, evening snack, and dinner.
Right.
So it's all 4 meals you are there with your family, and you have to create something. That's a tough thing to do. And for that, you really, whatever basic thing what you have in your house, you plan something. You should always try to, eggs are very, very easy to get. You should always have eggs in your fridge. You should always have milk in your fridge. You should have small masalas and all these things, which is easily available at this point of time. Definitely, you can't ask for fancy stuff or food hall stuff at this point of time. But few things like these basic things like egg, milk, Maggie is a very big thing which you should have in your house. So all these things make you can do a good job, and you can do a healthy food. Vegetables are there available. Definitely fancy vegetables are not there, but all the regular vegetables are there, and you can plan. Pasta should always be there in the house, and you can have different kinds of dishes and meals. So I sometimes make machri, I sometimes make pasta, I sometimes one day you do only khichdi with the papad and yogurt. So all these things are happening now.
So I'd like to interrupt Manish over here. I think we should all be given choice of choosing a partner we want to be quarantined. I choose Manish. I choose, of all the foods that you've been talking about, all the pasta, the wonderful things you make, oh my God, I want to be quarantined.
Yeah, I think the point is also, how are we going to keep our shape? That's
again a tough thing. That is why you have to balance in such a way, all your meals you have to balance in such a way that if you are making pasta, the cream pasta in the lunch, make sure you balance it out with the soup in the evening. And all the vegetables are available. So I did a pumpkin and coconut soup, which is a very, very common soup, and one of our signature at Indian Accent also. So simple to do with the kaddu ka soup, and it was delicious.
Right. So just keep balancing. What you do for snacks, Manish? That is the biggest problem.
Snacks, I am lucky that I have some local vendors who, sabji walas, who sit outside. They sell these moodies like murmuras. And that is the perfect. Yesterday only I made this puff rice, chana, peanut with curry leaves and mustard seed, which was very, very good for, it's very for munching. And definitely everybody is now having Zoom parties in the evening with their drinks in their hands. So you have the drinks also, you can have that.
Right. And you have an interesting technique of dishwashing that you've learned. Being told. Please tell us that.
I think each and every chef who's going to go back to their kitchen is going to respect 100 times more their dishwashers now. Because I would say washing, like, it's a like thing. Every 10 minutes your sink is full. The moment you start finishing, the sink is full. Every moment you start finishing eating, the sink is full. So like it's really, really tough. So I think every chef will start respecting their dishwashers more, I would say.
Right. And every chef will start respecting his wife more as well. I hope you're sharing in the dishwashing at home.
That's what else you can do
to keep your sanity and
absolutely.
Suneet, welcome. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you? Holding up nicely.
Yeah. Can we talk a little about how this whole idea of working from home? We tend to wear our pajamas all day long, and it's possibly not the wisest thing to do, because it also affects the way you work, isn't it?
No, certainly.
Do you
No,
have any tips for us on how to be stylish and look comfortable?
right. So in a setup in an organization like mine, where we're actually manufacturing driven, which
Right,
means, you can be designing at home and looking at ideas and doing your sketches, but all of that has to be implemented only through a production pipeline.
right,
To buy the fabric, so that requires manpower. Dye the fabric, that requires manpower. Cut, stitch, sew, embroider.
right.
So ours is actually a production manufacturing kind of a business.
Yeah,
Even though fashion design as a whole is considered a design idea,
yeah,
but it's backed tremendously by manufacturing. Otherwise, it only remains
right.
sketch.
Yeah,
So, uh, so having said that, my team and I are talking every day about ideas, what we could have done, what we should have done, what we will do in the future, things we like on Pinterest, any fabric ideas, whatever. But as a person, as a team, and as people who have this very unexpected quarantine, I must say the first week or so I was quite surprised
hmm.
and also happy to have had the time to stay in my pajamas and my t-shirt and my shorts all day,
Yeah,
because this was, it was just such a novel idea for me, because I'm one of those people who work 7 days a week,
yeah,
24 hours. I work a lot basically.
right.
So um, we're working on shows and collections and ideas and presentations and talks and travels and trunk shows.
Hmm.
So I don't get a lot of downtime.
Hmm.
So I was actually quite happy to have the downtime to start with. And
Hmm.
then I realized that, if you stay in your pajamas, if you stay in your shorts and t-shirt the entire day,
Yeah,
essentially it becomes very, you start feeling very sluggish,
yeah,
and you start really feeling as though you're being forced to be in a quarantine.
right.
So besides having to exercise to counter Manish's beautiful pastas,
Yeah.
besides 1.5 hours, so I do a 10,000 step walk every evening.
Okay. So how do
Uh,
you manage that within the confines of your?
so, obviously, when you have to do your 10,000 steps, it's a form of exercise. So even though you might be wearing shorts and t-shirt, you sweat a lot. It's actually an exercise mode. At
Right.
the end of that, you have to then have a shower, shave, get ready, and wear a nice kurta pajama, wear a nice, trouser, a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Or you change. You come out of your sweaty clothes, your dirty clothes, your sleeping clothes,
Yeah.
and wear something. So, every evening I do this. I actually exercise, and then I wear a nice, like I've just worn something, simple, nice kurta. Then I might have a snack, which hopefully Manish will send me.
We all hope.
and then you have a drink or have a nice dinner. So I think clothing, and Kaveree, you and I have talked about this at long extent, and I feel fashion is a very, very true reflection of the times that we live in.
Yeah.
It has been very well said and very well documented. So, whether it's pre-war time, whether it's the depression, whether it's the joyful, the roaring 20s and 30s and 70s, the movies, fashion truly is a reflection of our times. So what we are going through right now, it really does reflect that you're being forced to be quarantined. It is not something that people are happy to do beyond a point.
Right.
So, of course, comfort is one thing, but like what Manish said earlier, and you said, mental health is probably more important than just being forced to be in quarantine. So, how do you keep yourself joyful? How do you keep yourself focused? How do you keep yourself feeling professional? How do you keep yourself feeling worthy? I think
Yeah.
These are important aspects of clothing and fashion, I think, in this time.
So what are the simple tips you can give us, Suneet, on how
Well,
we can do that?
Yeah, we're also on the onslaught of summer,
Yes.
Kaveree.
Yeah.
We're on the onslaught of summer. So it's important that, you dress comfortably, even if you're in your homes and you have fans and air conditioners and air coolers, you still want to be able to dress comfortably. And, so it's not necessary that you have to wear your leather shoes all the time. You can wear a pair of jeans and a nice t-shirt, but you can be in your chappals.
Yeah.
So that much you can allow yourself. But I wouldn't say that, be happy to be in your dirty shorts and t-shirts the whole day.
Yeah.
I would not recommend that. I would say comfort is really important. I would say keeping the summer temperatures important. I would say even, you can use more friendly fabrics.
Right.
You can have more cotton things without polyester. You can actually have fabrics that breathe better. You can have fabrics that stretch better. So it could be in t-shirts or shorts or track pants. Because obviously you cannot be sitting on a desk the whole day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're lying in the bed, sometimes you're taking a nap, sometimes you're watching something, reading the news. So comfort becomes really important as well, I think. Yeah.
Thanks, Suneet. Ira, may we come to you now for a bit and talk about really what are the things that we can integrate in our mornings, perhaps, so that we start off on a good note. Maybe a 10-minute routine, a breathing routine, an exercise routine. Really, the basic building blocks of what we need to remain healthy. Because as Suneet says, the danger is that we can just be sitting around all day and uh, or lying down and taking a nap, and then one nap stretches into another nap, and just goes on and on.
That's true.
I would actually want to begin, Kaveree, by saying that the coronavirus lockdown
Yeah.
has actually led amongst a certain community to a bit of a fitness revolution.
Right.
In my yoga company, we've actually gone completely virtual, and
Yeah.
we've never seen as many people coming to yoga as we have today. Like,
Yeah.
I am completely shocked out of my mind how so many people are coming, because people can't leave their houses. They
Right.
can't go to gyms. They don't have access to machines.
Right.
Many people can't even go outside and take a walk. That's
Yeah.
not accessible to a lot of people. And if it is accessible, then people are scared.
Yeah.
People are scared that, oh my gosh, what if someone comes? All public parks are closed, colonies are closed, walking tracks are closed. So really, what you're left with is yoga.
Yeah.
This is really what you're in yoga. I've actually converted this, I have a virtual yoga studio going on, which is also like a VC situation, because on my team, each of our teachers is taking 3 to 4 classes a day.
Wow.
It's like overwhelming, because so many people are turning towards yoga, and it's such a beautiful thing, right? Like, you have a 21-day lockdown, you can use this in a constructive way to form a new habit, like form a yoga habit, right? And all of us need it, not just for the physical part, but for the mental part. We talked about food, and food brings people together. It makes you feel nice. There's nothing else to look forward to, so a good meal does. But so does a good workout. And yoga, with its sort of, mental benefits, its physical benefits, its energy and spiritual benefits, is definitely doing that. So I just want to point that out. But, in my yoga community, a lot of people have taken this as a super positive thing, and they've come and they've said, you know what, we're going to turn up to yoga. And the surprising thing is, we have online classes. You see several people coming twice a day, morning and evening, because, they can, right? There's no commute time. They're sitting at home all day. They can't leave. So you might as well go on the yoga mat. How much space do you need? Just this much, right? So this is something that I've really seen, and it's been pretty amazing. I would say, you asked about the basic building blocks.
Yes.
Everyone should learn 2 things in yoga: the Surya Namaskars, the sun salutations.
Yep.
Again, it's a full body workout. It
Yeah.
takes just a little bit of space.
Right.
And when done in a correct way, they're completely safe, And the breathing, the pranayam techniques are also so wonderful.
Right.
We all need it in this day and age, with because it's building strength in your respiratory system.
Right.
The biggest fear that people have is,
fear.
what is going to happen once we exit our homes,
Yeah.
right? Like, the worst is not actually going on right now. It's like, what's the scene going to be 2 weeks later when we enter out into the real world, and how are we going to protect ourselves?
Right.
So we all need to start doing this pranayam, because this is our shield now, It's up to us to protect our own selves. And the only realistic shield that all of us have is our own immunity. That's it. So things like yoga are actually building your immunity, Yes, and I really encourage people, include amla in your diet, include giloy in your diet, include turmeric haldi in your diet. Start taking these things every single day. Do your breathing exercises every single day, and do your sun salutations every single day. This is what you have now. This is what you have. The rest of 2020 is going to be like this. And we don't know when gyms are going to open, right?
Yeah.
We don't know that they were the first to close, and they're going to be the last to open.
Right. How many, I've always asked my yoga teacher as well, how many Surya Namaskars is the ideal? He says
So
you should go to 101, but that's like
no. I would say for a normal human being,
yeah,
6 rounds.
right,
6 rounds means one on the right, one on the left.
right,
That's 12, like that's 12 Surya Namaskars in total. That is a good practice. So
right,
12 Surya Namaskars would take you 15 minutes,
right,
15 to 17 minutes. And that's like doing 17 minutes of cardio, right? When you go to
right,
the gym to work out, the trainer will usually tell you, कि आप 15 minute, 15 minute आप treadmill में भाग लो, or
right,
do 15 minutes of cardio. So
right,
that's what Surya Namaskars do. They're building up a 15-minute cardio. And in fact, I would say that, of course, sun salutations are great, but all of us need to do a little bit of cardio. And we need to go back to the old things like jumping jacks. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Doing 5 minutes of jumping jacks in one small place, everyone can do them. Jogging in the spot, doing a skip rope. So
right,
now we have to go back to some of those older techniques that we used to do as kids, jumping jacks, skipping ropes, because we don't have the space anymore, right?
right,
Like, how much space do people have? They can't really step out. They have a small little outside area outside their homes. Maybe they have the privilege of having a larger space. But I think these things, especially for children,
yeah,
so a lot of moms, I've said, listen, make your kids do 100 jumping jacks every day and do it as a competition. Try to build up on those jumping jacks,
right,
skipping. You have to do these basic, simple things now to get a little bit of your heart rate up. Otherwise, as we're talking about, we're sleeping, we're eating, and we're just getting sluggish and lazy. So
yeah,
integrating during the lockdown a 20-minute daily routine of a workout is no, it's not a choice anymore.
right.
Like this, I feel the Prime Minister needs to. Actually, I'm expecting that the next time the Prime Minister comes online, he's probably going to say we're making yoga mandatory. You know what I mean? He's done the bell, he's done the lights, he's done the clanging. And like the next thing we know, he's going to come and say, now everyone has to practice yoga. I'm surprised that they haven't started playing, my yoga program on Doordarshan every morning.
Yes,
Like they're doing Ramayan. So
yeah.
I was like expecting that they're going to start rerunning my program in the mornings. Like everyone come and do yoga together. This could be the very next thing. Yeah.
What about pranayam, Ira? Can you teach us the basic technique of pranayam? Because I think breathing is very important.
It is very important. I don't want to take up too much of your time with this, but I'm going to just give you one principle of breathing. If you give me about 7 minutes, I'll be able to properly explain it to you. But
Yeah.
I don't want to take so much time online. I know others, Suneet and Manish are waiting, but I'm just going to say one thing.
Yeah.
With breathing, the principle of breathing
Yeah.
is not to breathe like this. Okay, it's not to breathe. You see people are breathing like this and making noises. Actually, the way to breathe is to breathe really, really slowly. And the yogis, like the highest yogis that I know, their pranayam practice is that they just sit down and they try to inhale one breath for 1 minute. So you're slowly breathing in really from the base of your stomach. And this is doing wonders to your respiratory system. Not just your respiratory system, to your parasympathetic nervous system, your nervous system. So you really, when you're breathing, a few principles to keep in mind: sit with your spine straight always, and really begin breathing from the abdomen, so you're breathing in and really just trying to inhale deeply from the abdomen and very, very slowly taking the breath all the way up, feeling the breath along the sides of your body and making each breath last for at least 20 to 30 seconds as you inhale completely, and then the out breath is usually, you can take an out breath for almost 30 to 40 seconds, very, very slowly, so this is a very powerful practice to just try and breathe in a very, very slow pace and just do this for 5 minutes.
And you breathe out through your nose, not through your mouth, right?
No, always through the nose. You're breathing in deeply from the abdomen, moving the breath into your diaphragm, into your chest, and you're always breathing out through the nose. And again, you're using your abdomen, your diaphragm, and your chest. So really trying to do simple, deep breaths, which integrate your entire respiratory system. Another beautiful practice, which is not complicated, is to learn how to hold your breath. See how long you can hold your breath for. If it's 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, this is the simplest way to strengthen your respiratory system, is to hold your breath. That's it. Close your eyes and taking a deep breath, not those ones. Not like that, but the way I explained, very, very slowly, bringing the air all the way up and then just holding the breath for something like 30 seconds to 45 seconds and slowly, gradually build on increasing this.
Right.
This gives you immense power. In fact, the practice of yoga is not teaching you how to breathe.
Right.
Practice of yoga teaches you how not to breathe.
Not to breathe. Right.
You know, how not to breathe.
Right.
How you can actually take such slow, long, deep breaths. You know, that's what happens. It's sort of like animals that really breathe fast, they lead short lives. Animals that take really, really slow breaths, like a turtle and an elephant, have very long lives. So the length of your breath determines the length of your life.
How long is an ideal breath?
That's a very individual, you know, that's a very, very individual thing. But I would say a breath should be, you know, it should be at least 15 seconds, you know, at least 15 seconds. And if you, this is something that all of us have to work towards. Most of us are breathing in for 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So we need to kind of learn how to do a little bit longer, deeper breathing than that.
Wow, that's really good. Thanks, Ira. We have a question for Manish. Manish, we have a question from Chandrakant. Chandrakant? Chef Manish, we need ideas on making Maggi nutritious.
add as many vegetables you can. Add many add as many vegetables in that, and if you can reduce the quantity of the masala which you get with the sachet.
Yeah.
And use your own masala a little bit, because sachet that will contain little bit of MSG and all.
That's right.
So you reduce that and use your own masala and lots of vegetables and good fat or something with a little bit of butter or something, but you can make it healthy. Yeah.
Chandrakant also wants recipes for immunity building soups.
Soup of any kind is very, very good. And as Ira said, that with these times we have to look at the past, what we were doing when we were in old times, and there are so many dadi nani recipes of things which you can really work on, making a barley soup or making a dalia ka soup or a dal ka soup. Dal is always available.
Right.
So all these type of things with our own spices and something like a fenugreek water or a cumin water in the morning. It's very, very good. She said amla, incorporate amla in your diet. So if you have a juicer, you are making fresh juice, add amla in the fresh juice.
Right.
And you can use that.
Right. Suneet, we have a question again from Chandrakant to you. How does one declutter the wardrobe at this time?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question from Chandrakant. And Kaveree, believe it or not, I think most of my friends and my family members, and I'm sure maybe even Ira and Manish and you, have actually opened their wardrobes and looked at it and said, I only wear 3 of these things.
Exactly.
Me.
I wear this, so I don't need this, so why do I have so many of the same, you know? So most certainly, I have 2 cupboards full of clothing, and one is what I wear regularly and the other not so regularly, and some winter clothes. And I've actually cleaned up one of them.
Wow.
I think the first week that we were here, I gave away some coats, some trousers, some jackets, some that I've outgrown, some that become old. You know, you just need to give it away. And the great thing about clothing is that if they're nice pieces of clothing and you've invested well in them, somebody else will enjoy them for a very long time. You know, so you don't have to throw them away. You can give them to the blind school. You can give them to your house help. You know, I gave it to my workers at my office.
Yeah. You can give them to me, Suneet. I don't mind.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'll take some too, actually.
Happily. And I think this is really important. You have to declutter your clothing, you know. And then also when you're doing that, you also discover things that you actually really enjoyed, you know. So and which you haven't worn for a long time, or which have been hidden away somewhere behind you. So like coming back to again what Manish said, Dani ka soup, you know, I actually have beautiful shawls, which I inherited from my dadi and my nani.
Right.
which had been lying in a hanger, very neatly, nicely covered for the last 5-7 years,
Yeah.
and I'd forgotten about them. So brought them out, have them dry cleaned as soon as it's over, and begin to use them again and wear them. So I think wardrobe decluttering it's a really important
The
thing,
Marie Kondo technique.
and it declutters your life. You start from there.
Yeah. Great. Bharat Garg, to all the panelists. This one for Manish. Is a mix of fruits and vegetable juice bad, Manish?
No, the thing is, it should be a correct combination. It should be correct combination. At this point of time, don't trust the palak and all that. Uncooked palak and all, don't trust that. But the thing is, if you have a beetroot, if you have amla, if you have some fruit, you can definitely use that. And but make sure you clean it properly.
Right.
You clean it properly, peel it, and then use it, not just the whole fruit. So it's better to avoid too many adventurous kind of soup. The basic ones are very, very good.
So he's talked about a beetroot, carrot, apple juice. I think that's pretty good, isn't it?
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
I actually have a question for Ira or for Manish, if you'll allow me, Kaveree.
Yeah, sure, please.
Yes. So I think almost for the Ira, this is for you because you understand food and health food better, and Manish as well. For the last 5 years, or maybe even 7 years, I've had a routine whereby I have a big jug of about 4 or 5 glasses of lemon water with haldi. Then I have a katori full of bhiga hua beej, of methi ka beej, and then I have dalchini with a sip of honey. And I've done this for the last 5 years. I see some benefits. I see some benefits because at my age, I'm very touched with very few ailments, or no ailments rather. I have no ailments. And I still have a lot of energy. I still, my stomach, my respiratory, everything is great. But can you actually tell me, is there a wonder drug like, let's say, a Chyawanprash? Is it better to have that, a spoonful, or is it better to do the routine that I do 5-6 things every day?
So Suneet, that's a good question. I would say that a lot of it, all these health foods as well, they're not applicable to everyone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like every single person has a certain kind of a constitution. In Ayurveda, they have a certain prakriti, if you know a little bit of Ayurveda.
Yes.
So for example, for me, certain fruits and vegetables are not good for me. I don't feel so good when I take them. Right? Certain things don't really have, like certain things, for example, ajwain water makes me feel amazing. It has no benefits on someone with a pitta constitution. So I do think that all of these little remedies that you're doing, they do have to be, it's like when you're prescribed antibiotics, okay? You're not just prescribed a standard antibiotic, you're prescribed something which is particular for what your constitution is.
Right.
So there are Ayurvedic principles of eating, and they're very applicable to the Indian diet that we have. So I really suggest that everyone should do, and you can do these tests very simply. If I took a proper look at you and, not on a screen, I could probably be able to tell you what your constitution was. You could do an easy, simple quiz or test and get the basics of these eating. The basics of Ayurvedic eating are very, very simple, So all of these things that you're doing, cinnamon is great for some people, not so great for the others. But if you have done this, and you're fine, and you're seeing that there's no adverse effects of it, and in fact you're perfectly fine, and obviously this is working for you. But I do think that even these health routines, they're tailored. They're not one fit all. Milk, for example, is amazing for some people. It's not so good for other people. You know what I mean? It's not at all good for other people.
I can't drink milk for some reason.
Exactly. So I do think that this is a very common example. Some people, they milk makes them very calm and happy, and it's really good for them. So it really does depend on your personal constitution. Fermented foods, for example, some people, when they eat fermented foods, like even dosas and idlis, it's not so good for them. But for others, it's great. So I do think that we have to, all of us, build a certain awareness of what our body types are, what's good for us, what's not good for us. And this takes a little bit of effort. It's like, as a designer, not every outfit looks good on everybody. Not every color suits everybody, everybody, right? So you have to tailor that according to that person. And it's the same with these kind of...
What is the best way to make haldi paneer? How we do it? And I'm asking you because I'm not sure if that's the best way. If we take kachi haldi, I take kachi haldi and I boil it. I boil it in a little bit of water and like concentrate. And I then drink that concentrate from the kachi haldi. Is that the best way? Or the
You
best
must
way
always add some little bit of black pepper to haldi. Always.
Okay.
Always. A pinch of black pepper is very important because it helps in absorption. So there's a lot of controversy around vitamins that we take, like eatable vitamins, like gummies, and so popular. A lot of people say they don't have much benefit because to absorb those vitamins and minerals, you need other things. You need combinations, right? You need certain minerals. Like when you eat a plant, it's not just one thing, it's many different things. It's a natural way of having calcium, for example. So even with haldi, a little bit of a touch of black pepper is what they always recommend. Just a tiny pinch because it helps in absorption. So definitely try doing that. And it tastes actually quite nice as well. Nice little flavor that it adds to it. So even in a lot of Indian cooking, haldi and black pepper are usually used together. And I'm sure Manish would tell you that. And that's because it helps in absorption. So if we go back to our dadi and nani, we see all of this stuff. It has actual health benefits.
Right.
Great. We have a couple of questions for you from Bharat Garg. Ashtanga yoga talks of breathing with your stomach tucked in while practicing it. But Hatha yoga talks about abdominal breaking. Are both right? Abdominal breathing are both right?
Okay, I've been told, is this the one I've been told not to use my back for sometimes, or abdominal breathing, usually your stomach comes out? I'm looking at these. That one?
Yeah.
So, okay, now what Bharat has asked is a question which you actually, this is a very complex answer that comes with it, with a lot of yogic terminologies, like a Jalandhara Bandha and the Mooladhara Bandha, and how you engage the bandhas to do this kind of breathing. So I don't want to get into that right now. It's sort of like a little bit, but it's a very good question. But basically, Bharat, both of these practices are trying to engage your diaphragm. You don't breathe from your stomach, you breathe from your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is where your lungs are, you know what I mean? And that's what's helping you. So both are correct. Some people engage the stomach because it's a way of engaging certain bandhas in the body. And another one does yoga breathing in a slightly different way. But the purpose of all of it is to engage the diaphragm always. Everyone, that's the fundamental basis. So just keep that in mind, Bharat. Engage the diaphragm, which is this part of your body. This is what you should be breathing with.
And another question, I've been told not to use my back for exercise for some time. What exercise can I do to remove hand and leg stiffness?
Okay, so, again, simple joint movements. They're like again, going back to what we used to do as kids, what we did in school, like little PT exercises.
Right.
Basic joint movements are so good for you. So good for you. And typically we find them boring and slow and we don't do them. We get into more heavy duty stuff. But something as simple as moving your elbow like this, moving as simple as moving your wrists like this, doing something as simple as squeezing your wrists really, really tight and releasing them, squeezing and releasing them. It's working on all of your nerve endings.
And your toes.
And your toes. Same with your toes. The same thing. All of your nerves in your feet and your hand get stimulated. And it's like immediately I did this for a couple of seconds and I feel like lighter in my fingers already, So little things like going back to the very simple building blocks. Yes, it's slow, but stuff which is slow is really good for you.
Right. Manish, what are you doing to remain, sort of energized, remain happy, to remain sort of ready to roll again?
I would say you go on the terrace and small things and walking and all. I have a cast 2 days back. Till 2 days back, I had a cast on my feet, so I was not moving that much. The plaster was still there. But washing vessels is also exercise, I think. And what I want to say that along with what Ira is saying and Suneet is saying, one thing at this point of time we can also do is to follow a routine of whatever we are eating and when we are eating. Because if we can fix that routine, that okay, early dinner, 7 o'clock, everybody should have their dinner. Or 8 o'clock, everybody had their dinner, and then they do whatever they want to, watch television or read a book or what. So if we can follow a routine, that is the best way, because sometimes what you eat is not a problem. How you eat it and when you eat it, that becomes a problem. So that you have to, if you can follow a routine, which you can easily do at this point of time, you are not doing anything.
Yeah.
So you can follow the routine, and which is very, very well for everyone.
Right. Ira, we have another question from Yanni. Corporate officials end up working 12 to 14 hours a day during lockdown, unlike 8 to 9 hours while in office. Kindly cover this aspect and suggest on how balance can be maintained.
I would say take little breaks during your work. You know, to take little breaks. Make sure that you're getting up every few hours and you're coming and you're walking around. Make sure that you, again, simple asanas like a basic third asana that you do just by lifting your hands over and doing a deep stretch. Something as simple as this and pulling the body up is such a beautiful stretch, which makes you really feel super good, you know? So make sure that if you're doing this, then you have to actually be even more disciplined than other people. And you have to make sure that you're taking regular breaks, that you're waking up in the morning and doing yoga, and feel free to join our virtual yoga classes. You know, they're very convenient. So, I mean, everyone should do virtual yoga. There's no excuse, you know. You switch on your computer and you have like a yoga class and a yoga teacher and it's all guided. It's wonderful. I think this yoga, virtual yoga is like a new, like it's like going to be the new normal now very soon.
Absolutely. Okay. Bharat, what's your virtual yoga address, Ira?
Oh yeah, it's Ira Yoga Wellness. You can just visit the website.
Okay,
wonderful. You can Google and look at it. Yeah, thank you.
Suneet,
I'll type it.
Suneet, how are you staying sane?
I'm very well, thank you.
How are you staying sane?
How am I? Sorry, what?
How are you staying sane and healthy, and how are you?
I'm actually, believe it or not, keeping quite sane. I have a partner who I live with who's completely insane. So, so one of us has to stay sane. And of course, you know, my mother lives down the road from me, and I have a huge responsibility. So I make it.
Are you able to meet her?
No, I have not been able to meet her, even though she lives 10 houses down from me. But interestingly enough, I would see her maybe every other day, you know, usually. But now I talk to her 3 or 4 times a day on the phone and about 3 or 4 times on video call. So interestingly enough, we have far more interaction right now. And I think, you know, to keep her sanity, I do a lot of Zoom chat with my brother and sister, watch a lot of television. I must admit, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I've stopped reading too much news.
Right.
That's a great thing. Yeah. That's a very good thing.
About a week, thank you. About a week ago, I decided that I wasn't going to read too much news because it just seems like a number thing, you know, 30,000 dead and 40,000 dead here. It's become a statistic. You know, it doesn't really talk about life in a more human manner. It's become more like a statistic game. And I think, you know, you need to kind of keep yourself healthy and you need to keep yourself sane, whether it means eating at the right time, like Manish said, doing the exercise. I don't do yoga like Ira, but I do walk 10,000 a day, which is about a 1.5 hour of, you know, very fast-paced walking. I try to cook, believe it or not. I love to cook. One of my favorite things for my mother's house is kurkuri bhindi, and I didn't know from anywhere in the world how to make it, but she showed me on WhatsApp how to, on video make it. So last night I made kurkuri bhindi. Very proud of myself.
Very well done. Manish, that can be a dish in Indian accent soon.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So, one last thing from you, Ira, because we really are turning inwards now more and more. You know, we're looking inwards, we're looking at who we are, we're looking at our breathing, we're looking at our lungs, everything, our heart. What is the one thing that is absolutely essential in this new age that we need to do?
I would really say, Kaveree, again, I'm going to come back to the breathing practices. You know, for example, what Suneet is doing right now, he can integrate 10 minutes of pranayam in his life, you know, every morning. That's an easy integration. You know, it's very simple, it's very good, and it's very, very good for the respiratory systems. You know, it just keeps your respiratory system healthy. And I would really suggest, I mean, I'm not even saying go into the practice of Jal Neti and this and that. I'm just saying do breathing. You know, sit down and do 5 to 10 long breaths. Do some Kapal Bhati, Anilom Vilom, the 2 fundamental practices of yoga. You know, I'm happy to share a video with the New Indian Express on how to do these techniques correctly. So I would really say that everyone can do it. You know, everyone can do it. It's 5 minutes of their day. It's 5 minutes. And it's meditation is not everyone's cup of tea. You know, meditation is really hard for people. It's like difficult to close your eyes and okay, now what to do, you know. But breathing is, you know, respiratory exercises are engaging. You can easily do them.
Okay, we have one last question quickly, Ira, from Vicky Tulsian. I'm regular with my workout, almost 90 minutes every day with my weights and other equipment. Can you suggest something to increase my flexibility?
Again, I'm just going to come back to something what I said earlier is the sun salutation, the Surya Namaskars. Integrate these, again, 15 minutes. It's a full body workout, you know. So even if you are walking or whatever you're doing, this is so simple to do, so simple. And so many benefits, not just to your physical body, but also to your, you know, also to your, all your internal systems, your organs. So everyone should try to do these basic things. And I have a feeling like the government of India is going to make this mandatory pretty soon. So we might as well learn it now before it's forced upon us.
Great. Thank you all very much for your wonderful advice. And it's been a terrific time. I've learned so much. Thank you, Suneet. Thank you, Manish. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.
Stay healthy, stay safe, stay safe.
You too. Bye. Bye.